What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some drills to help quarterbacks throw 40+ yards. Let's get started. But also, fellas, if you are a quarterback and would like to train with us this offseason, we are going to be coming out to 9 more states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. Next up on our camp tour, we are going to be coming out to St. Louis, Missouri. Then we'll be heading out to Honolulu, Hawaii, Boston, Massachusetts, Cleveland, Ohio. Then we'll be coming out to Austin, Texas, Seattle, Washington, Newark, New Jersey, Denver, Colorado, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to any one of those cities and would like to come out and get some work in with us for 2 whole days of training, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out to one of our off-season camps. Let's get started with this video. All right, guys, so the first drill we're going to be talking about is a simple drill that you guys can do at your house. You need maybe 10 yards of space, and it's going to be working on your throwing sequence. So your throwing sequence is very similar to like hitting a baseball, hitting a golf club. Being able to generate torque is how you guys are able to get arm strength, which is what will help you guys be able to throw further. So that's what this drill is going to work on. So let's start by talking about what the throwing sequence exactly is. So when you guys go to throw, everybody knows when they're in their base, the first part of a throw is going to be your front stride. Now, as I think most of you know, quarterbacks don't want to have this real long front stride, right? They don't want to take this really long step. They're not pitchers, because when your feet get outside your frame, you're not able to rotate at your hips. And your hips and your legs is how you're able to generate as much power as possible. So what you want to be able to do is you want to keep your weight loaded on your back leg and your base. You want your back foot to be underneath your hip, underneath your armpit, underneath your shoulder, just anywhere where this shin can stay straight. You never want to be this quarterback with the knee caved in and their weight shifted forward, because when your weight's shifted forward, you have no drive off of your back hip and off of your back leg. Your weight has essentially already transferred. So you want to make sure that we're in this loaded position, light on the front foot. So now the throwing sequence is when you guys take a step with your front foot. Now as you step, notice, very similar to a baseball swing, you step with the front foot, your shoulders got to stay back. That's when you take the ball back to this like opposite L backstroke position, right? Now when you step and your shoulders stay back, then it's time to transfer that weight and rotate at your hips. So the hips can come through before your shoulder and before the arm. That's the throwing sequence. Very similar to hitting a baseball, right? You take a step, the bat stays back, you pivot off the back foot, and the bat trails behind. There's speed there with the bat, just like how we want speed there with my arms from my hips. Your hips and your legs is how you're able to generate power. So this drill helps us with that whole entire thing. It's the first part of the sequence. So again, you need maybe 10 yards. You can do this in your room. You guys have already seen the Prescott hip walk. Pretty much what this is, but we call this a QB walk. So all you are doing, if you're a righty, the rhythm of this, be here for 10 yards, you're going to go left step with your front foot, right, make sure your weight stays loaded, then left. And as you step with your front foot, your shoulders are going to go back and your weight's going to stay back. Then you're going to reset, left, left. And you're going to reset, left, right, left. And I'm going to show you how that's going to look full speed in a second. But this is solely working on that throwing sequence to get you into a good mechanical position where you stride, your weight stays back, and then we transfer through. So again, sequence of the motion, left, right, left. As you step, that second left step, those hands go back for that first part of that QB walk. Easy, everyday drill that you can do. I'm going to show you this is going to look full speed. All right, guys, so this next drill is going to be an easy drill that you guys can do, again, in your room. You only need maybe about 5 yards of space to do this type of drill, but this is working on your hitch at the top of a drop. So if you're throwing a deep ball, right, let's say I'm throwing like a deep fade ball, I'm trying to drop this thing over the top, my drop is probably going to be like a 3-step drop and a hitch, or maybe like a shuffle hitch, right? So like I go back, I take a 3-step drop, I hitch up to throw, I got to make sure shoulders, my weight is back, and then we're trying to get to that same throwing sequence that we talked about in that last drill. But this drill is working on solely that hitch to get you to the point where your weight is back. Because when you throw a deep ball and you're trying to throw farther, obviously you have to be able to put air on the ball, right? So to get air on the ball, and I think every quarterback knows this, you got to have an arc of your shoulder. But if you get to the top of your drop and you go to throw and your weight is shifted forward, it's physically impossible to arc your shoulder. You're going to be here coming ahead of yourself, back leg might swing, and you're going to push the ball to try to get air. And that's why a lot of guys don't have the nose of the ball turnover, and it decreases their arm strength. So this specific drill helps you with that. So all you're going to do, it's a 2-part sequence. You start out with weight on your front foot, like you're at the top of the drop. Like you just took a 3-step drop and you have weight here. Now we're going to be working on the hitch. So you're literally going to replace your front foot with the back foot 1, and you're going to arc your shoulder. Then you go back. Then on the second one, you're gonna do the exact same thing, but when you land, weight's gonna be back, shoulder's gonna be arced, and we're gonna go through and throw with the towel. So you don't need receivers out here for this. You don't need to throw to anybody on this. If you wanna do this with a ball and maybe throw to a spot, you absolutely can, but it's very important that we get my weight back and replace my feet to get to that position where your back foot's under your frame, like we talked about with that throwing sequence, so you can arc your shoulders and be able to generate more power on this throw. So again, I'm gonna show you how this is gonna look full speed. All right guys, so now this next drill is going to help quarterbacks limit their long stride, okay? So that's one of the biggest things that will decrease arm strength in a quarterback is they will have a very, very long front stride, which will put their base outside their frame. And as we talked about in that very first example, we don't want my feet outside my frame because I can't rotate where? I can't rotate at my hips, right? So we want to be able to take a quick stride, maintain that weight on my back leg, and be able to drive. And this drill is going to help with that and help you increase your throwing distance. So a lot of times when guys will drop back, like let's say they're doing that 3 and a hitch, and let's say they have the right mechanics, just like the last drill that we worked on with the towel. And the whole reason we use that towel is just so it doesn't put a lot of stress on your arm and you could maximize reps by working on a specific skill. You're not worried about the result of the ball, you're solely just worried about the mechanics of the hitch, right? So like let's say I'm taking a 3-step drop and a hitch, I go here, my weight's on my foot, I hitch up, I get my weight back, but now here's the problem. Guys, because the base is more narrow and having this really wide, they'll take this long baseball stride, and then you're up exactly where we didn't want them to be. Outside my frame, I can't rotate, my leg kicks up, and you're gonna lose power that way. And I get it, a lot of guys will hitch up like that and push because they feel they need to do that to be able to get power on the ball. We don't have to do that. We need to take a short, normal stride so I can stay on sequence, which is what that very first drill worked on. So what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna start out like facing like you're gonna be throwing a deep ball, but instead you're gonna have your weight back under your frame, you're going to slightly open up your front foot. So you're going to open it up like, let's say I'm throwing, open it directly to you, slightly to a back up, slightly to the right, okay? And weight's going to stay back to a ball. Front foot. All we are doing is my weight back, shoulders arched, and we are just going to throw while maintaining a good, strong position with my front foot and a solid position with my front foot. That gets you comfortable throwing with that short and correct stride so your hips can actually rotate through on the throwing sequence. So to ultimately get to that point where you take a 3-step drop up and that foot gets down, those hips can clear through and you're not putting pressure on your arm. And the ball's gonna obviously go faster because you're using your body, not just your arm, your head, pulling the elbow out, which is an inconsistent source of power. So again, how this drill plays out, have your partner stand maybe 20, 30 yards away if you could throw it that far, your front foot's open slightly, weight is back, and we're back with my hands and rotate all the way through. I'm gonna show you how this drill is gonna look full speed. All right guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like to come out and train with us this off season, we're going to be traveling out to 9 more states across the country, St. Louis, Missouri, all the way to Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on that, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out to one of our camps. Very first link below. I'll see you guys next time.